All right. Good afternoon. Welcome back. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We will get started in a child's pose really quick for a breath or two, and then we'll get moving. Okay, so hold on, let me clean my screen. Okay, maybe that's better. All right, we're going to start in a child's pose, and we're going to go right into some side stretches. Okay, so those knees can come a little bit wider, toes together to touch. Press those hips back to the heels, and then slide those hands forward. Rest that head down. And so think we're pulling that chest down towards the mat, a little bit of a stretch to that upper back. We're gripping those hands into the mat, reaching those arms, and we might even find a stretch through those shoulders. And then we'll walk those hands over to that right side. And if you're on a mat, just walk them off the mat. So get that big reach through that left hand. Press that left heel back. Keep that core tight. And then walk those hands to center. Then we'll go over to the other side. Really big reach out through that right arm, and then right hip presses back. And then we'll bring it back to center. Let's come up onto those hands and knees. We'll stack those, we'll bring those knees in a little bit so they're right, maybe even touching. The knees can come together to touch. The big toes are coming together to touch, and then the ankle bones are pointing straight up. Now from here, we want to have those toes kind of tucked under so we can start to sit back on those toes. So maybe that first step is just sitting those hips back to the heels. So we might start to feel that big stretch through the toes, maybe through those arches. Now, if you feel like you want a little bit more stretch, maybe we bring those hands a little bit closer, bring a little bit more of the weight back on the heels, bringing that torso more upright. So we can always have the hands on those thighs. So again, that's a little bit more pressure than the hands on the ground, but still not the full weight. If you want all the way into it, come all the way up. So sitting tall, shoulders are stacked right over those hips. Make sure those ankles aren't bowing out to the sides. We want those Achilles, those tendons here to be pointing straight up. That core tight, breathing in and out through the nose. And relax into this. I know this might be kind of a big stretch for some of you, especially if you do a lot of walking or a lot of running. This might be particularly tight. I definitely feel it. Couple more breaths. Now, go ahead and lower those hands down. Kind of wiggle out those toes, some flexions, extensions through those ankles. And now we will step those feet back to our plank. Let's hold this plank here. Now we're going to drop the heels over to the right side. Left arm reaches up. Bring it back to center. Lower those knees if you need to. We're going to go into a push-up. So lower shoulders high the elbows. Press it back up. Pop back up into that plank. Drop the heels over to the left. Right arm reaches up. Now, if we need to, just lower that bottom leg down. So now it would be that left shin down for a little extra support. Bring it back to our front plank. Again, if you need to, lower onto those knees into that push-up. Heels will go to the right. Left arm will reach up. Bring it back to our front plank. Push up. Side plank over to that left side. Bring it back to our front plank. Again, push up. We'll go one more time each way. So we'll go over to the right side, back to center, push up, over to that left side. Bring it back to center and push up. And then from there, again, just go ahead and send those hips back to those heels, reaching through those arms. Rest that head down. And then we'll come back up onto hands and knees, step it back to that plank. And then we'll lift those hips up, that down dog. So we'll stretch out through those calves, bend those knees a little bit, both knees. Press the hips up, press that tailbone down, grip those hands into the mat, pull those forearms towards each other. Feel that big stretch through the calves, maybe bend into that right knee a little more. Press that left heel down, flexing that quad, keeping that back nice and flat. Then we'll go the other side. We'll press that right heel down, bend into that left knee. Bring it back to neutral so both knees have that slight bend in it. Really press the hips up, press those heels down. And then we'll come onto the toes, stepping those feet up to that top of the mat. Let's bring those hands up to the shins, flatten out that back. With that flat back, we're going to slide those hands down an inch further. Good, hold and breathe here. Slide it down a little more. And go a little bit further. Now relax, just let the head, the upper body hang nice and heavy. And then we'll reverse it. Bend into the knees. Let's come up to standing. Let's reach those arms up. We're going to bend into that right elbow. So you're patting yourself on the back. Rib cage pulls down, head presses back. And then we'll bend it over to that right side. And inhale it back up. Switching sides, we'll bend into that right arm. And pressing that head back. Core stays tight. And then find that side bend over to that left side. Good, let's bring it back up. Reach those arms up. And then with that flat back, so hips are going back. Slight bend in those knees as we fold. Again, bring those hands to about mid-shin. And then we'll slide the hands down a little further. Keep that really flat back. Bend those knees as much as you need to. A little further. And a little further. And then let it hang nice and heavy as we fold. Last time, let's bend into those knees. Come back up to standing. Reach the arms up. Bend that left elbow. Press that head back. Side bend over to the right. Inhale, bring it back up to the other side. Press that head back. And side bend. Good, reach it back up. And then arms are reaching up overhead as the hips press back, flat back as we fold. And you can lower those hands down to the shins. Okay, then maybe we move the hands down an inch. And then another inch. Another inch. Big stretch to the backs of the legs. Now from here, relax, let the head hang heavy, plant those hands down onto the mat. So maybe bending those knees a little bit more. And then we'll step our feet back to our plank. Holding this plank, let's do another set of side planks. So heels to the right, left arm reaches up, whole. If you want to make it a little more challenging, let's go ahead and lift that left leg up. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Front plank to the other side. And if you want to lift that right leg up, make it a little harder. We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to that front plank. And then let's bring those hips up at down dog. Now let's step that right foot to that right thumb. That back knee is lowering down. Chest pulls forward. So maybe we're on those fingertips. And then we'll twist, reaching that right arm up overhead. Hips are pressing forward. Keep that core tight. And then we'll lower that hand down, straighten that front leg, pull those toes back. Let's rebend into that knee. So keep those back toes curled under. You reach those arms up overhead. So we've got to press into the right foot, the left toes, core is tight, and then we'll lift that back knee up, coming into that high crescent lunge. So keeping that low back neutral, okay, keeping really engaged through the core. Those arms are reaching up. Now again, we're going to bend into that left elbow, pressing that head back, again, keeping the core tight. And then now find that side bend over to that right side. So it will be a little bit of balance. And then inhale, reach it back up. Come up high onto that back heel, straighten that front leg, and then lower those hands down to the shin, ankle, or maybe down towards the ground. You just want to feel that stretch through that front hamstring. And now go ahead and step that right foot back into that inverted V, that down dog. And then we'll step that left foot to that left thumb. Back knee lowers down. So be on those fingertips to start, just pressing the hips forward. And then we will twist, reaching that left arm up. Lower those hands down, straighten that front leg, pull those toes back. And then we'll rebend into that knee, curling those back toes under. Reach those arms up, pressing the hips forward, and then we'll start to lift that back knee up. Hold it here. Now we'll bend into that right elbow. Left hand reaches for it. Press that head back. Keep the core tight. And then we'll bend it over to that left side. Good. Inhale, bring those arms back up. Straighten that front leg. Lift that back heel up high. Flat back as we fold. Feeling that stretch through that left hamstring. And then plant the hands down. Step that foot back to that down dog. And let's come forward to our plank. And then drop the heels over to that right side. Reach that left arm up. And if you want, reach that left leg up. And we can come back to front plank again. If you really want that challenge, keep that leg lifted. We'll add in that push up. And we'll go to the other side. Drop that heel, that foot down, lifting that right arm up. You can lift that right leg up. You can come back to the front plank. Again, maybe you keep that foot lifted. Push up. Do it. And lower that foot down. Hips back up high. And then we'll step again that right foot through to that right thumb. That back knee will lower down. This time, as we plant that left hand, twisting right arm up, you're gonna start to bend into that back knee. So maybe reaching for that pinky toe side of that foot, keep that core tight, and then bring that heel towards that glute, that quad stretch. If this is too much, maybe just bend that knee to any degree that you feel like you can, or you can just stay here in this twist. Just do a couple more breaths. And release it. Stepping that foot back to that down dog. Then we'll go to the other side, stepping that left foot through. Back knee down, twisting. And then bend that knee. Okay, maybe you'll start here. Maybe you can grab onto that foot, pulling that heel towards that glute. Keep that chest open, core tight. Good, then go ahead and release that foot, and then we'll send it back to that down dog. And then we'll come into our pigeon. So bringing that left knee, left wrist, foot comes across, slide that right leg or the left leg back, and we'll lower down onto those forearms, resting that head down onto those hands. Just relax here for a couple minutes. So don't want to be completely relaxed. We do want to keep that stability through the hips. So pressing that right shin down, pull back, left knee presses down and pulls forward. And then come back to the hands. Let's switch sides. And we'll bring that left knee to that left wrist. Foot comes across. Slide it on back. Lower onto those forearms. So pressing that left shin down and back. Right knee presses down and forward. Good. Then let's sit off onto that left hip. We will swing that right leg out and around. So this left foot just comes to that right inner thigh. It will reach those arms up, slight twist towards that right leg, flexing that foot. You can bend that knee if you need to a little bit and then fold. So maybe bringing this left hand to reach across that right shin, sitting really tall, and then exhale, fold a little deeper. So you want to feel that stretch, that right hamstring. And then let's bring it up, switching sides. Left knee extends out, right foot comes to that inner thigh. We'll reach those arms up, twist, and then fold. So right hand reaches across that ankle, sit tall, and then fold. Then bring it back up, Go both knees, both legs out wide. Okay, sit tall. Those knees are pulling, or those legs are pulling out. And then we'll walk those hands forward. Maybe get those elbows on the ground, or maybe it's not quite there yet. Maybe feeling a little bit tight. Just sitting up really, really tall, hinging from the hips as we lean it forward. Good, then bring it back up. Let's go ahead and cross those legs, finishing off with some twists and some side bends. So arms will reach up. Let's twist over to your right side. Sitting really tall on that inhale. Exhale, look over that shoulder, twist. Back up and to the other side. And bring those arms up. Let's side bend over to the right. So left arm reaches up and over. Press that left hip down into the mat. And we'll come back up to the other side. Reach it up and over. Yeah, then bring it back up. Let's lower those hands onto the knees. Close down your eyes. Relax those shoulders. Let's just take a few big breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Let's do 2 more big breaths in and out. Last time, big breath in and out. All right. Leaking those eyes open. Thank you all so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. We do have a intermediate flow this afternoon at 4:45, so hopefully you all can make that. But anyway, have a great day.